Hello YouTube, and a special hello to all my subscribers. Thanks for joining me today. My name's Phil, I'm the Income School student. So I want to talk about something that happened to me last week. I was watching a video from another YouTuber and I got extremely angry with what I heard them say, and I went super fan on them. I defended Income School, and that's because in the last month in Project 24 we've been reading a book by a guy called Pat Flynn. It's called Superfans, and I am certainly a super fan of Income School and Jim and Ricky over there at Income School. So I watched this video and it was all about this guy on a channel called Keyword Research Company, and his video was titled 7 Reasons Not to Buy Project 24. And when I saw that come up in my YouTube feed, I knew there was going to be a problem here, because why would you not buy Project 24? I think it's one of the best possible programs for internet marketers out there. So I had to watch the video, and I watched the entire video, and then I had to reply, because a lot of the things he was saying were just plain out wrong, misleading, came from a place of a lack of knowledge, I think, which was surprising because this guy had claimed that he had a lot of experience as an SEO. So I wrote this long reply, and I was trying to be polite, but I was pretty angry with what I was hearing because it was bad advice. He was telling people the wrong thing. But then it got me to thinking, he wasn't doing it to be nasty. He wasn't doing it because he hated Income School. He did it because he didn't understand why Jim and Ricky do what they do and why they teach their students what they do. So I got to thinking, perhaps it's just a lack of knowledge, maybe just a misunderstanding. So what I want to do is to give my point of view on all of those 7 points that he said, and to give my answer as a current Project 24 member, and just sort of right some wrongs, and perhaps, rather than mislead people, maybe sort of educate them, I want to say. So that's what I'm going to do. So first of all, let's look at the 7 reasons he suggested not to buy Project 24, and then what I'm going to do is, over the course of the next 7 days, I'm going to answer each one of those points in a separate video because they warrant a lot of time, and I think that I need to give a detailed answer so that no one is misled, no one doesn't have all the facts, and they can make an informed choice of whether or not they want to invest in Project 24. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the ideas that the channel Key Research Company, what this channel suggested, the 7 reasons were for not buying Project 24. Okay, so let's go through those 7 reasons that Keyword Research Company, the channel on YouTube, said not to buy Project 24. So the first reason is that he said Jim and Ricky tell their students not to use any keywords in their search analysis and when they're thinking about writing articles. So you don't use keywords. I think he was suggesting that we don't use keyword tools. The next reason is that he said Jim and Ricky tell us not to waste any time on link building. After that, he said that Jim and Ricky teach their students to outsource all of their content for the websites. He also said that Jim and Ricky teach their students to write 30 articles maximum on any website. He also said that the posts that we write, the post recipe that we're taught, is basically telling us to write articles that are just too long and don't need to be that long. So he was talking about the length of the post as a reason not to buy Project 24. Another reason he gave was that Jim and Ricky said not to actually pay any money for any site design, any site development. Don't spend any time or effort on that. That's another reason. And the last reason he said was because the course is just too expensive. Okay, so those are the 7 reasons that Keyword Research Company has given for not buying Project 24. Now, I disagree with every single one of them, and what I'm going to do is, over the next 7 days, I'm going to be talking about each of those points in a little bit more detail. So if you're watching this for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way you're not going to miss any of those upcoming videos and all the other content that I'm going to release over the coming weeks and months. So today what we're going to do is talk about this idea of keywords, keyword research tools and all those kind of things. So stick around and we're going to talk about that just now. Okay, so keywords and SEO and 2019, 2020 in the future. So the first thing I want to make clear is that Income School, Jim Harmer and Ricky Kessler, what we're focusing on here is organic traffic. We're talking about how to build up traffic to websites organically and to basically enable us to have a passive income because of that traffic, people just naturally finding us through Google. So I'm not talking about paid traffic, I'm not talking about social media traffic or anything like that. What we're talking about here is organic traffic. Sure, in Project 24 we learn how to get social media traffic through Pinterest, through YouTube and things like that, but I'm just focusing on Google here. So when you talk about keywords, it's almost like you're trying to talk to someone from 200 years ago and they just don't have the right vernacular for today. They're not using the right vocabulary to describe what they're trying to talk about. The idea of keywords is over. That was great advice 10 years ago. 10 years ago, what you had to do is you find a keyword, you put that into your title, you had it in your post, and there are ideas of keyword density. And by that one keyword, that's what you would rank for. That is not the case now. This is why Jim and Ricky no longer use the term keyword, they use search analysis. And I also refer to queries, because what we're doing is we're answering questions. So that kind of goes hand in hand with this idea of keyword tools. So the main problem here is that if you limit yourself to keyword tools, you're probably going to be getting the wrong advice and the wrong data, because there is no keyword that we know of that is actually accurate. The only people in the world that have detailed data on things like search volume is Google, and they're not sharing that information. So every single keyword that is out there, any keyword that you've paid for, they are not getting that search volume data from Google. They're getting it from somewhere else. So that means it's not correct. So you should always take those numbers with a pinch of salt. So if keywords is not how you rank anymore on Google, how exactly do you rank? Well, this is there's been a big change in the way that Google does things, and their algorithm is always changing, it's always updating. And the biggest update that we've seen recently is something called BERT. Now, this stands for something that I'm going to have to read because it's quite complex. So BERT stands for Bidirectional Encoder Representations from Transformers. That is basically a big step to something that's called semantic search. So the English language has something like 170,000 words in current use. There are over 1 million words in total, but about 170,000. And a lot of those words are synonyms, they're similar to each other, right? So I'm an English teacher and I spend all day teaching my students how to paraphrase, how to say the same thing using different words. And that's what Google is moving towards now. So, for example, you might go onto a keyword tool and you may see a particular query is getting 0 search volume a month. Of course, that number is pure nonsense. But yeah, perhaps for that particular search phrase, no one's searching for it. But Jim and Ricky over at Income School, they've given us loads of examples, both in Project 24 and on their YouTube channel, where they've said, okay, we've written an article on a query that was, we were told, gets 0 search volume a month. That article brings in 5,000 page views every single month. So how is that possible? Well, it's semantic search. The query that you originally ranked for may not have a lot of search volume for that particular phrase, but through semantic search, other closely connected phrases may also be sort of associated with that post, and you start ranking for those. So that's the thing. If you just focus on keywords, you're going to miss out. This is why you need to look at the content. You need to look at searcher intent and you need to look at the actual queries that people are writing, and that's what we're taught in Project 24. So it's not that we're not taught how to use keywords, we're taught something that actually is being used by Google today, not what they were using 10 years ago. So another thing that kind of upset me a little bit about what this guy was saying, and I thought was bad advice, was the way that he was using keyword tools. Now, I'm not saying keyword tools are, you should avoid them completely. There is one use that they have that is just excellent for bloggers, and that is to give inspiration. You should use keyword tools, something like, I know, Uber suggests, to give you inspiration, because you can't think of everything. Even if you're very passionate about your niche, you're not going to think of everything. So sure, you can put in some keywords to do with your niche, and then you can see what it brings up. But that is where your journey begins, not where your journey ends in search analysis. So you can use it for inspiration, which you then go into Google and search and research a little bit more, and that's where you find your queries, not from just looking at the keyword tool and the numbers they give you. So it's great for inspiration. But the thing that this guy spoke about, which was just plain wrong and doesn't make any sense, is he said that he uses the keyword tools to look at his competition. He sees what the big boys and the other competition in his niche are ranking for, the type of articles that they've written. And then he writes articles on that. That is just ludicrous. That's so, I want to say stupid, but that's rude. No, it's stupid. It really is stupid, because if in your niche, for example, let's say you're in the medical niche and you write an article that WebMD is ranking for, and you're a brand new website, you are never going to be able to outrank a massive authority like that. And also, even if there's a website that is maybe a year old, why would you go and write the same article? It's like picking a fight with Goliath, but you don't have any sling, you know? So rather than picking the same queries that your competition are writing about, go have a look at them and see what they're not writing about. And we had an excellent example of this recently on a YouTube video by Jim and Ricky, and they were talking about their pet website, Boya Pets, and one of the bigger sort of competitors in that niche is the Spruce Pets. And Jim was talking about how they had one very high ranking, so this was the Spruce Pets, they had one very high ranking post on an animal called an axolotl. It's a weird looking animal, you can look it up. And instead of writing exactly the same post, what the guys did was then go research that animal, because the Spruce Pets had only written one article on it. And from doing that, they managed to find, I think, around 10 to 20 additional articles that then brought in a lot of traffic. So rather than writing exactly what the competition's doing, you go find what they're not doing, and that is what we're taught in Project 24. So I think that a lot of the gurus out there, a lot of people that say they are, SEOs, they're not thinking about what's happening now. They're looking back at the past. So it's really important that you listen to the people that are telling you something different to everybody else, because more likely than not, they have their finger on the pulse and they know what's changing. And that is why what this guy said about keywords is bad advice. So rather, I'd go over to Income School and listen to Jim and Ricky, because they know what they're talking about. Okay, so hopefully I've convinced you that using keywords and just sticking to using keyword tools is not a great idea, and it's better to employ the idea of search analysis that's taught by Jim and Ricky at Income School. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget that over the next couple of days I'm going to be releasing another 6 videos to sort of tell you my point of view on the 7 reasons this guy said not to buy Project 24, and in fact I think there's 7 reasons to buy Project 24. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you've got any questions, please leave me a comment. I mean, what way do you find your keywords? Are you using any keyword tools at the moment? Do you think I'm wrong? Leave a comment and let's have a discussion about it. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about, is it a waste of time to build links or not?